a phenomenal experience. So for all of you that are here to be recognized, I congratulate you in advance. And I'm so happy to see that so many of you brought your families and loved ones and friends to be along with you to celebrate in this accomplishment. I'm Eric Gunderson. I'm the superintendent of schools here of the Suffern Central School District, and I'm very proud to turn this program over to one of our assistant superintendents for human resources, Mr. Larry Mautone.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much for those words. There goes the first 3 paragraphs of what I was going to say. So thank you everyone for being here for this special night. I know we live and breathe this as educators of what tenure is, so I just want to give a brief explanation of what tenure is for all those not in the education world. So someone who has a certificate, a teacher, a teaching assistant, a pupil personnel provider, or administrator can earn tenure after successfully completing a probationary period, usually 4 years. So in those 4 years, you are observed by either your principal, your assistant principal, maybe a coordinator of special services, maybe an assistant principal. So you have numerous observations throughout the year where you're evaluated. You have meetings, pre-meetings, post-meetings, and it can be very stressful for some people, those observations when people come in. I remember those days back when I was teaching, and it's a long process. So it's a huge accomplishment when we get here. And what happens at the end of the tenure is the principals all write a letter of recommendation, or the supervisor to the superintendent then makes a recommendation to the board. And then on a night like tonight, the board votes on whether or not to grant tenure to those individuals. So getting here is a huge accomplishment. And so what does it mean when you have tenure, right? Everyone's like, I just can't wait to get tenure. I want to have tenure. So there are certain legal things that we won't bore you with, that there's legal protections that people get, but it means so much more than that. It means that you've accomplished something that not everybody does. So are some people that start off in a teaching career that don't end up getting tenure. So it's a huge accomplishment to get that. It means that you are being recognized by your supervisor, by the board, by the district for the hard work that you performed. It means that all the support and sacrifices that your family and friends have made were well worth it. And I'm hoping, and I'll see you tomorrow, but I'm hoping that it means that you no longer have to laugh at your supervisor's jokes either. But so I heard there's been a lot of buzz about this tenure class this year, 2023. I don't live in Suffern, but I just hear there's a lot of buzz that when people have been talking about this class, they also in the same breath talk about that football Hall of Fame class from 1993 with Dan Fouts, Chuck Noll, Walter Payton, Bill Walsh, the basketball Hall of Fame class of baseball of 36 with Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb, the basketball Hall of Fame class with John Stockton, David Robinson, and Michael Jordan. So am I saying that this tenure class and those classes are on the same level? I'm not. What I'm saying is if this tenure class was right here, then those other 3 are just right there. If we were A, those classes would be A1, just right below us. So it's a very exciting night. You'll be able to judge for yourself the quality as I introduce the principals. So this is what it's going to be. I'm going to introduce a principal or a supervisor. They're going to call the recipient up. They're going to stand here awkwardly as they say nice things about them for a minute. So without further ado, we're going to start with Miss Christine Druss, the principal from Viola Elementary School.
Good evening. As I call up Miss Isabella Burkett, you have to laugh at my jokes because I steal them from Larry. Nothing more awkward than having to come up, right? Friends, can you hear that? Well, everyone at Viola can, because when Isabella speaks at 3:35 in the afternoon on the PA, she doesn't realize that the PA automatically just makes it loud. But I know that for those of you who are miles away, you probably could hear, and those administrators who are lucky enough to call me at 3:35 can hear it as well as I can because my speaker is right above my head. So we can definitely get awakened every day. But we are, what you have heard about her right now in voice, you're going to hear about her now from my voice, and it speaks volumes on her behalf and why we value her. She awakens us with her voice every afternoon to the reason every day that we are here, to educate and make everyone feel safe, cared about, and that they are valued and they matter. For Isabel Burkett, it is always her number one priority to educate, make everyone feel safe. She is and announces the buses, as I shared, and she's number one in our fleet. She reminds children every afternoon that they're seen, often saying goodbye by name. Bye, Jacob. Bye, Mary. Bye, everyone by name, as she repeats the numbers to ensure everyone has heard it, like they haven't. Then she reminds everyone to thank an educator and to be safe or walk. How lucky we are that what great things are happening around our building, and to keep the positivity and reinforcing theme that we are so fortunate to enjoy each day. Tonight provides an opportunity for us to remind her in front of all of you just how much we value her. She has been and is currently the TA for us in our special class, which is typically our grades 4 and 5. Mrs. Burkett has had an opportunity to work in multiple capacities since 2012. During her time at Suffern Central, she has taught kindergarten, 4th and 5th grades as a long-term sub. She has taken on leaves in ENL, math, and ECT programs as a special educator. And additionally, when she wasn't a day-to-day sub within Viola, she has taken on many long-term subs positions, even at Connor. Her educational background: she has a behavior specialist certification, Florida Institute of Technology, a BCA, BA certification. She also has her New York State teaching certification, grades 1 through 8. She's certified in the UK as a qualified teacher, has a Master of Science of Education from the University of Bridgeport, Connecticut, and a Bachelor of Business Administration from Western Connecticut State University. Additionally, she holds a license for middle school education. She has an extensive educational background and a diverse experience, as you can see. That, combined with her daily passion and commitment to kids at our school and community, brings this quote to mind: "A good education can change anyone. A good teacher can change everything." This quote may be written by someone who's unknown, but it certainly is known about you. I definitely know you have brought about so many positive changes in students, in PTA programs, Girl Scouts, and our school community. And you are truly a positive role model for all our students. You always respond, you're living your dream, but most importantly, you have helped us live so many dreams and become a reality for students, staff, and all at Viola. Specifically, Mrs. Ralston, your co-teacher, speaks so highly of you as an outstanding partner, colleague, and educator. She lovingly describes you as the odd couple, but I'm not going to deal with that tonight. She says you're the odd couple. But I said I'm definitely not going to take that one on tonight. So thank you for walking alongside our students as an advocate and for all that you do every day. I can't thank you for enough as an educator and a leader. And by the way, I always look forward to those yearbook reminders that I haven't given you the letter yet. I did this year.
Thank you. I'd now like to welcome up from Cherry Lane Elementary School, Miss Angela Aguilar.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, guys. So Dr. Gunderson, members of the Board of Education, I'm pleased to present to you Jackie Camillo. Come on up. For tenure for the 2023 school year. All right. Jackie received her Bachelor's of Arts degree at Marist College for Psychology and Special Education in 2004. And in 2008, she received her Master's of Science in Literacy Education from Hunter College. She is married to her wonderful husband, Hector, and together they have 3 beautiful children, Layla, Lucas, and Logan. I was first introduced to Jackie because she was actually a parent at Cherry Lane Elementary. Her daughter, Layla, who's actually 13 now, was a 2nd grade student in Mrs. Long's class, and Jackie came in to do a lesson. I remember watching the lesson and knowing then that she was something incredibly special. So fast forward several years from later, we were looking for a lead replacement, and I go knocking on that door, and I ask her if she's interested in applying, and she does. That lead replacement turned into another lead replacement, and which then turned into a permanent position as an ENL teacher. And officially, Jackie joined our Cherry Lane family in 2019, but she has been part of our family long before that as a parent and community member. One of the many strengths that Jackie has is she's a leader. She's a hard worker, and she advocates for all of her students. She's a cheerleader for all of our teachers. She's a self-starter and an educator that continues to work and grow and learn in her professional practice. Just recently, she received her TESOL Advanced Certificate in 2020 and her FLES certificate in 2021. She is energetic and not afraid to get her hands dirty. Ask anybody. She puts in the work, and it shows with the relationships that she has built as throughout our school and her colleagues throughout the district. She has successfully worked with myself, her parents, and colleagues to bring about new community events like our multicultural night, and she has been a part of many district and school committees such as Cornerstone, Biliteracy Analyst Team, and our District Literacy Committee as well. But when you ask anyone, myself included, what is her strongest asset? It's without hesitation that others will say her kindness and her passion about the work she does every day. She has found her purpose, and I'm grateful to be her principal. Congratulations, Jackie. All right. And I repeat, Dr. Gunderson, members of the Board of Education, I am pleased to present Leanne Matthews. As a candidate for tenure for the 2023 school year. Leanne received her Bachelor's of Arts degree in teaching in speech and hearing handicap at Pace University in 1994. And in 1996, she received her Master's in Science and Education and Special Education from St. Thomas Aquinas College. She is married to her wonderful husband, Christian, and together they have two beautiful sons, Evan, who's 20, who is actually going to flight school, very impressive, thank you, and Christian, 18, who's a senior in high school. Leanne started out as a special education monitor at Sloatsburg Elementary in 2016. And in 2017, we were lucky enough to grab her up for our new foundations classroom at Cherry Lane, where she embraced our new class with energy and enthusiasm and a desire to learn more about the students she was serving. So independently, Leanne began her certification course in applied behavior analysis and received her ABA certification within a year. And this was all while being a special education monitor. She then moved on to becoming a teaching assistant in that very same program, she loved. And then in 2020, she became the special education teacher in our new primary foundations classroom that we started as a K-2. We couldn't think of a better person to start this new program. Leanne is a kind and compassionate educator who advocates and believes in her students with every fiber of her being. She is a hard worker, a self-starter. She is motivated, organized, and truly thinks outside the box on how to create lessons that will help her students learn and grow. The smiles in her classroom are endless. She is a wonderful leader in and outside the classroom and projects positivity and a calming nature that her colleagues and families appreciate and lean on. I know I do. She has successfully worked directly with administrators, myself, and family members and their colleagues to bring to life our garden at Cherry Lane. Her students love the spring ritual that's planting and taking care of the flowers that they plant. This garden is so important to our community at Cherry Lane, and it wouldn't be possible without Leanne's hard work. She is always a part of our events at night, whether it's literacy night, Yale night, multicultural night. She is always willing to lend a helping hand with our colleagues. We are so happy to have you at Cherry Lane because your dedication and passion for what you do every day comes through each and every day. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. So now I'd like to welcome from the middle school, Dr. Andrew Trust.
just want to point out we were given a directive by Larry that it's a minute max. A minute max. At some point, I'm going to realize that nobody listens to Larry. Good evening, everyone. I'm Andrew Truss, principal of Suffern Middle School. First, I'd like to begin by congratulating all of our recipients. Being awarded tenure is about being recognized for all the hard work and dedication that you've given our students over the last few years, and you should all be very proud of yourselves. Congratulations. Our first tenure recipient for Suffern Middle School is Miss Stacy Lum. Come on up, Miss Lum. Ms. Lum is a teaching assistant at Suffern Middle School who works in our Foundations program. Through her hard work and unmatched dedication, Ms. Lum helps to create an environment free of the pressures of the regular school day. She often infuses unique activities such as making bubble tea or having her trained therapy dog, Groot, visit the class. These creative lessons help support both cultural and emotional connections for her students. Ms. Lum states that there's no better feeling than being able to create a positive and supportive learning environment and seeing the fruit of your labor through the smiles of her students. Outside of the classroom, Ms. Lum is a huge supporter of our Suffern community. Her knack for taking pictures at literally every event to supply headshots and promotional materials for the school musical makes her presence felt throughout Suffern. As a lifelong Suffern resident, she prides herself on being visible in the community and helping any way she can. From running the Jumbotron at high school sporting events to creating buttons for the Suffern High School football team's senior night, she's part of it all. I'm especially thankful for Ms. Lum's support of our Leader in Me program and her leadership of the National Junior Honor Society at Suffern Middle School. Both of these programs are often highlighted and help make our schools stand out above all others. I appreciate all the effort that she puts into them both. Please join me in congratulating Ms. Stacy Lum. Again, 1 minute. I was told 1 minute. Our next candidate for tenure is Mr. Paul Lublineski. Come on up, Paul. I'm going to have to say Lublineski multiple times in this speech. Mr. Lublineski is receiving tenure as a special education teacher. In the classroom, Mr. Lublineski does a great job of creating authentic learning experiences that his students can use to connect their learning to their own lives. He regularly shows his versatility by demonstrating a keen ability to work with students with varied learning styles and pushing them to perform at their very best by developing a sense of trust in him and their own abilities. It's these strong connections with his students that help them develop a sense of self-confidence and challenges them to take risks at their learning. After all, when a child knows that their teacher has their back, they're more likely to put themselves out on a limb. Outside of the classroom, Mr. Lublineski is involved in a myriad of activities. During his administrative internship, Mr. Lublineski was the founding staff member of our National Junior Honor Society. His guidance during that first year helped get the program off the ground and created so many academic and service opportunities for our students. In addition to his academic role, Mr. Lublineski coaches multiple sports in the district, including football, lacrosse, and wrestling. On the athletic field, Coach Lublineski's presence can be felt through his words, his actions, and his high standards for his athletes. Please join me in congratulating Mr. Paul Lublineski. Our next candidate at Suffern Middle School is Miss Nicole Reynolds. Ms. Reynolds is receiving tenure as a guidance counselor. During her time at Suffern Middle School, Ms. Reynolds has done a great job of navigating the challenges of being a guidance counselor in a middle school. It's not easy keeping tabs on almost 300 students and making sure that each one is functioning appropriately and navigating the challenges of middle school life. Ms. Reynolds regularly completes whole class lessons geared towards helping students manage their social emotional well-being, organizational skills, and infusing the leader in me philosophies in their everyday lives. She provides counseling in both group and individual environments to ensure that her students feel heard and respected and to help them manage the stress of the real world. Outside of her regular guidance responsibility, Miss Reynolds goes above and beyond caring for her students by extending that care to their families as well. Miss Reynolds is a whiz at making sure that whole families get the help that they need by connecting them with various community organizations that she has developed relationships with over the years. She has even taken the time to set up regular food deliveries for families that are in need of food but don't have the resources to connect themselves with the appropriate organizations. This is just another example of where Suffern Central employees look out not only for the good of our students, but for the good of the community. Please join me in congratulating Ms. Nicole Reynolds. Our final candidate is Miss Megan Ferraro. Come on up, Miss Ferraro. Ms. Ferraro is receiving tenure in the area of social studies. Inside the classroom, Ms. Ferraro has a strong grasp on her content and does a tremendous job of infusing technology into her lessons. Through the use of this technology, Ms. Ferraro has been able to give her students more accurate representations of the topics that are being covered to help them develop a deeper understanding of historical events. Over the course of the last few years, Ms. Ferraro has worked closely with the Suffern Middle School project-based learning facilitator to even enhance the learning for her students even more. Outside of the classroom, Ms. Ferraro has volunteered her time to help coach our Suffern Middle School Girls on the Run team. The Girls on the Run program instills confidence in young girls through exercise, self-discipline, and social activities, and it is one of our most popular groups. To date, the team has competed in 3 races. In addition to Girls on the Run, Ms. Ferraro has dabbled in coaching volleyball, stepping in as a team leader, and volunteering to chaperone various events at Suffern Middle School. Join me in congratulating Ms. Megan Ferraro.
Right. Now I'd like to welcome up from the high school, Mr. Pat Breen.
Right. Once again, congratulations to all the tenure recipients this evening. Of course, we saved the best for last as usual. This evening, I'd like to invite Donna Ingrid Morales up from the audience. Danis completed his undergraduate degree at Lehman College in Spanish literature, as well as his master's degree in education. He began his teaching career at Suffern High School after completing a full-time leave replacement position in Ossining many years ago. From his first day at Suffern High School, Danis has consistently taught with passion for his subject area and has developed into a highly effective teacher at the high school. His lessons are executed flawlessly, and I have to say, for a new teacher, they are great. And I really want to stress that this evening. They're student-centered. They're always conducted in the target language. It's everything you hope for in a language teacher. Over the past 4 years, Danis has demonstrated professionalism, empathy, flexibility, collaboration, and commitment to his students. In addition, Danis has continued investing in his own personal and professional growth through his participation in district professional development opportunities. Most recently this year, Danis has contributed to the successful implementation of the new Spanish language arts course at the high school, a component of our new bilingual program, where native Spanish-speaking students are currently thriving and learning about grammar and writing in their native language. And that's a tremendous add-on to our school. So thank you, for all your work there. He's also contributed greatly to the lives of our students as the co-advisor of the Spanish Honor Society, where he has coordinated many newcomer luncheons and other events throughout the year to welcome and celebrate our new students and introduce them to one another, along with faculty, staff, and administrators. Congratulations, Danis. I want to thank you for all of your hard work this year, the past 4 years. I wish you continued success here at Suffern High School. Congratulations.
Thank you, Pat. Now from our Pupil Personnel Office, I want to welcome our Assistant Superintendent for Pupil Personnel, Dr. Lisa Castaldo.
Good evening. How is everyone? To give you an idea of pupil personnel services, because that's always so nebulous and no one knows what we cover, I'd like everyone here who's receiving tenure, who actually falls under pupil personnel services, to please rise. That's a lot of you. Thank you, Paul. Okay, so it was Paul, Stacy, Leanne, Nicole, and I think there was one more. Who did I miss? There we go, and Isabella. So congratulations, guys. So I'm here to speak about one of the pupil personnel services administrators who is a candidate for tenure tonight. So Mrs. Joanne McDonough, if you could come up. You're not going to get to avoid this.
I'm gonna stand close. Everyone seems to stand far away.
Okay. Stand very close because I don't have my glasses. So I typed it all out and I think it's a minute, but I didn't bring my glasses with me. So Joanne is a lifelong resident of Rockland County, and she's actually worked in Suffern Central for over 18 years. She began her career as a teacher in New York City and then moved to Sloatsburg, where she was a teacher and received tenure and was a rock star in special education in Sloatsburg Elementary. They were sad to see her go when she moved to this administrative position in Hilburn in the PPS department, but she's been a rock star as an administrator as well. She understands and is responsive to the needs of her students and their families on her caseload and works tirelessly to advocate for them. Joanne is best known around the district for her support of our elementary students because she covers all 5 elementary buildings as an administrator. But her caseload includes students obtaining, for instance, their GED at Rockland BOCES and K-12 students at out-of-district placements. She's been adept at flexing between all of the students on her caseload in learning their needs and the particular requirements of all of the programs they attend. Joanne is a graduate of SUNY Geneseo, LIU Brooklyn, and LIU Rockland. So she has a bachelor's degree and 2 different master's degree. The love of her life are her family, which is her husband, John, and her sons, Johnny, Brendan, and Patrick, who are in the back waving. Hi, guys. Her leisure time is spent watching and coaching their sports careers, and she's very proud of them. Joanne's thoughts, however, are never far from her students, her families, and Suffern Central. She will answer an email or a text whenever needed. I know because we're texting all the time at like Friday at 9 o'clock, Saturday at 10 o'clock, anytime day at night, anytime that she's needed. We are proud to have Joanne as a Mountie member of the PPS Administrative Department. And you can tell I follow directions because those were shorter than Dr. Trust's minutes were my minute. It was literally a minute.
Good evening, everyone, again. Dr. Trust, do you mind coming up here and joining me? Nice to see you. When I walk into Dr. Trust's office, all across the wall are pictures of these people I've never met. And they're sitting here in the front row today. So I want to welcome Dr. Trust's family. I know that in conversations with Dr. Trust, family means the most to him. And I know that he's heavily involved with all of his children and what they do on a daily basis. But he also views his family as Suffern Middle School. And before that, Suffern High School. And I know that he had experiences as an administrator and educator throughout Rockland County. He has an incredible background, and we are fortunate to have him leading the charge at Suffern Middle School. He's an educated person, most recently receiving his doctorate from Seton Hall University in educational leadership. But that's not what he starts off with when he introduces himself. You can become aware very quickly that he cares deeply about his staff and his students. And I mentioned his immediate family. His staff members are his family. And what I think is great too is that you have a bunch of 6th grade family members over here today witnessing the fact that you have tenure. He's a passionate person about setting high standards in the middle school, and that is clear when you walk into the middle school. He has standards. He expects students to thrive and excel. He expects great things from his team, and his team therefore expects great things from him. I know that when I speak with Dr. Trust, and it's not just because he's taller, but I feel the need to stand up a little bit straighter when I work with him as well, because he is very serious about his craft. I appreciate everything that he does at the school, with whether it's the Junior National Honor Society that he and Ms. Lum and others have helped create at Suffern Middle School, as well as something that has truly defined Suffern Middle School recently, which is the shift in climate and culture with regards to student leadership. And the Leader in Me program is a phenomenal program that is really reaping the benefits here. So, Dr. Trust, I want to congratulate you on your tenure. I love that your assistant principals are here to rally along with you. It is hard work being a principal, and I know that I benefit from working with you, and I appreciate everything that you do. Congratulations. I'd like to welcome up Mr. Larry Maltone. Mr. Larry Maltone is our Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources. Interestingly enough, on my first day here in the district, which was your 2nd year, people thought I was Larry Maltone. He's sometimes referred to me as, I'm his stunt double, or you're my stunt double. Larry is an expert when it comes to the big picture of education throughout the district. He may be the Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, which really focuses a lot on certifications, making sure that people are qualified and meet all the requirements for their various positions in the district. But he does so much more. He's the first person to step up when assistance is needed. He has a remarkable knack for delivering difficult news in a positive way, where people walk out of his office with a smile on their face, even when the circumstances are not great. Does a wonderful job working with our labor relations groups, all of our unions and associations. He does a wonderful job creating that culture of positivity, always looking at the bright side of life and what is best. Every decision he makes is centered on what is positive for students. Is this going to be the best thing for our students? I view him as a trusted advisor and a person who contributes greatly to the Suffern Central School District. And I'm very proud to recognize that you're receiving tenure in the Suffern Central School District. Congratulations. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Maltone to wrap things up.
This really is awkward standing up here. I didn't realize that. So I want to thank you. So I am the only recipient that does get to speak afterwards. So I guess on behalf of all the others receiving tenure, I just want to thank everybody that came out, thank the board. And if I can speak for the other recipients, I think it's a great night. The only thing that maybe could have been a little bit more special is had this been like other award ceremonies, and there are actually other individuals or nominees up for tenure in our same category. So when our names were called, we actually had the satisfaction of like beating out like 4 or 5 other people to come up here. But other than that, it was perfect. Yes. So I do want to thank everyone for coming. I want to thank Janet Giannacchio for the refreshments. And as soon as we're done here, you can finish up those refreshments. I want to thank our building leaders that came and spoke on behalf of our tenure recipients tonight, and also our central office administrators that did. In my office, Angela Corbo had sent out the invitations for people to come. Heather Campbell for all her work in organizing tonight, with organizing the food, the bags, and everyone that was coming. Dr. Gunderson, the Board of Education, for your continued support, and then especially all the family members. Again, having gone through this and got tenure numerous times, I realized the sacrifices that my family makes and has made for me to be successful. And so we can only be as successful as the support we have by our family and friends. So we're very appreciative of that and of all the staff that didn't have to be here tonight, but they came in support of their fellow staff members. So thank you all for coming. Please help yourself to everything, and congratulations to all the other recipients.